Green Fruit, Chapter 12. Deanna was at her desk. Her schedule was a weird thing. Well, what wasn't a weird thing lately? That was dictated by the inscrutable schedule of Karin Chakwas. The woman worked long hours, but she did occasionally take days off, and on some of those days off, Deanna was at the desk. Right now it was late night, which gave her plenty of time to contemplate weird doom. What wasn't weird doom lately? Was Karin tired? Sick herself? Was the baby okay? A twinge of, "That's none of your business," asserted itself, and she refocused on weird that she could control. Didn't seem like there was much of that, though. The quiet was interrupted by Commander Shepard coming out through the front door for the first time. He gave her a half-hitched smile. "Hey, Day. Mind if I call you Day?" "Yes, sir. I do." "Okay, Day. Tell you what. Karin wants some ice cream. I'll get her some." "No, you will not. I will get her ice cream." "Sir, you're going to risk me shooting you over ice cream?" His smile hitched further. "Yeah, I do not screw around with what that woman craves. Even if you can have it delivered?" "Especially then, Day. I'm not going to be pretty forever. I've got to prove I can be useful so she keeps me around." "You're driving." She didn't quite glare at him, but he could tell she wanted to. "Day, I don't think you have a gun, but you seem resourceful. You're also smart. What happens if you injure me?" Her brain nearly shorted out at the possibilities and probabilities summoned by that question. Bad things. Right. First and foremost, Karin doesn't get her ice cream. Let's go. Her Omni-tool lit up in alarm, and she did glare at him after she checked the readout. "Sir, you just attempted to clone my authorization for the vehicle." He grinned at her. "Yep." She continued to glare, and he shrugged. "Thane told me not to, that you'd catch it. Besides, he already has it." "What the hell, sir?" "Call me Moya." "No!" He shrugged at her with nonchalant disapproval of her decision. Why would Cercrios clone vehicle authorization? He is not under arrest. He can arrange for his own vehicle, just as Dr. Chakwas can arrange for her own ice cream. He was full-bore grinning now, and it irritated her as he didn't answer. As he just stood there grinning, she asked, "What?" "I was just thinking Garrus would like you." "Garrus Vicarian?" "Heard of him?" "No, I guessed randomly at a Turian name matching someone who's been on your crew. Twice." I think Thane just likes to know things. The guy's not all that forthcoming with the reasoning, other than that he's good at it, and he's personally offended by not having access to everything. I'm not complaining. It's worked out for me. Just not me. Am I... If this ice cream thing happens? Sir, if you're gonna kill me, can you just make it clean? Right now? Don't want to kill you, Day. Just want ice cream. But you'd kill me over ice cream? Well, it's a dangerous world. Who knows what's going to happen mid-caper? To be clear, Day, I like you. I do, but I love my wife. A lot. And she wants ice cream. You can see how you're lower on my list of priorities, but still a priority? How do I get off that list? Can't. Damn. He turned and walked through the front door. She clearly hadn't spent enough time figuring out scenarios because let's go get ice cream had not been anticipated. No, she was not going to restrain Commander Shepard when the reality was that Thane Krios might have rigged all of the security, and this was a test, with the only blip in that rigging being her. Either way, it was probably not a good idea to sit at a desk as Commander Shepard walked his way to ice cream. She sped to catch up, unlocking the car and nervously finding the closest grocery store. He was slouched in the passenger seat, head tilted back on the headrest. Don't worry, Day. I'll protect you. I'd really like to punch you, sir. Really? This face? This face belongs to Karin. I believe Dr. Chakwas appreciates violence in the face of injustice. She married you. Yeah, she did. But she might take it personally. I still think it's worth it. Nope. Can't let other women touch me. I mean, sure, you've got a body rich with oomph, but I'm just not interested. I've got a what? You heard me. How many times do I have to tell you that I'm taken, Day? Once. He started to laugh, and the ridiculousness of the whole thing resulted in a sort of shaking exhaustion where she felt near out-of-body conflict between really punching him, stopping the car, and asking him to get out, and laughing herself. With all of the sexual harassment she'd experienced on a daily basis, being assessed as having oomph, and then being casually dismissed as a concern was reassuring. So her worries eased about anybody thinking she would seduce Commander Shepard. Or that Commander Shepard would attempt to seduce her. Irritate her into punching him, maybe, but clearly everyone could control themselves in light of relative hotness and ridiculously imbalanced power exchange levels. Though she still might kill him, and it wasn't because she was Parpetarian, but because he was... The gray nebula that had occurred to her when she had shaken his hand clarified in context. He had priorities. Reapers. His family. His crew. She wasn't a Reaper, so he didn't need to oppose her, but if she opposed him and kept him from fighting Reapers or protecting his family, or getting Karin ice cream, he'd given her all she needed to know. He was giving her a chance to prove she wouldn't stand in his way. Because one night, it wouldn't be about ice cream, and he needed to know now. On that night, it would be about Reapers or his family. Maybe both. Relieved of the need to fear for her life, immediately she was again stricken with near-debilitating jealousy. This wasn't a new feeling. It was sharp in new context, but familiar and rich, having age and tarnish and texture. She didn't matter. Not really. He just didn't want her in the way. And it was her job to be in the way. Gritting her teeth because it didn't matter what she thought or what she did as long as they came back with ice cream with him uninjured. Part of the fear and jealousy reversed polarity. The melting that being in Karin Chakwas' presence induced encouraged sudden turbulence and cold spikes. She understood. If she'd had a family, a reputation, and a legacy to protect, she wouldn't let anybody get in her way either. It just hurt like hell to feel as though she had equivalent intelligence or capabilities of anybody that qualified as family or crew to this man, but to be stuck at a desk and so easily read and outmaneuvered. Garrus Vicarian might like her as a helpless chauffeur. Check. Her internal fuming crystallized into hoarfrost that settled in her eyes, freezing her lips and expression into dead things. She drove stiffly and quietly, the ice cream acquisition itself uneventful. He restrained himself from engaging in any more conversation, and she restrained herself from being the slightest bit curious, or feeling as though she wanted to know what kind of ice cream was so important. It really didn't and shouldn't matter to her. The ice cream was the ends, and she was only the means. He sat in his cool gray nebula of imposition and authority on the way back, and she didn't say a word, feeling the spiking burn of internal anger collide with the surface layer of soon-to-fracture and steam cold. Don't express yourself in front of him. That's all she needed to manage. When she stopped the car, he did not make a move to get out, and she did not make one of her own. He stared out the windshield for long minutes before saying, "Day, wish I could make you feel better about this whole thing. I can't. Not really. Take it from a guy who died on a day where he didn't see it coming. Now, I can see it coming. It's that bad. It's not hopeless, but it is grim as hell. I'm not going to insult you by trying to charm or negotiate with you. Whatever happens, I'm hoping you do what makes you proud of being who you are. You have reasons to be proud of who you are." Sounds like charming negotiation, sir. I just can't help it. Thanks for all you've done, Day. Karin really, really likes you. That means something. Thane likes you. That means more. David likes you. I'm not sure I can afford to like you. Well, I'm pretty sure I don't like you right now. And I'm pretty sure that's fair. Tell you what, here's my problem. I offer you a spot on the Normandy right now, whatever you want, hypothetically. Then what happens? I doubt it's a real offer because it's simultaneously a bribe, fomenting sedition, and playing on my hero worship. Plus, you don't actually have the Normandy. Yeah, so I'm not offering you a spot on the Normandy, Day. Not right now. Thanks for that whole hero and worship thing, but from my point of view, I'm a guy under house arrest trying to scramble. It's not about me. Hasn't been for a good long while. It's about Karin. It's about David. It's about Grace. It's even about Thane, but don't tell him that. The guy's got an ego on him that doesn't need to be encouraged. They're here because I brought them here. You're here because you have to be. We're all leaving this place one way or the other, and probably soon. If you resent bribery and sedition and hero worship because they're empty things, if you can't see that it would be because I need good people and you're a good person, if you can't be that good person, get a transfer. Now. Sir? Yeah? Don't call me Day. She smiled at him, her eyes and expression relaxing into an understanding of limited inclusion and set priorities. He smiled back at her. Sure thing, Day. Call me Moya. No, sir. Good talk. He patted the dashboard as though to thank the car for being cooperative, then carried his ice cream back inside. She sat there for a long time, staring out the windshield where he had stared, wondering if she could see what he had seen, wondering if that would help her or hurt her, wondering what it took for a man to risk being killed, betrayed, or taken from his family by walking unarmed into the unknown on a fool's errand in order to test his circumstances, in order to test her. So, all she had to do was the right thing. Sure, like it's always easy to know what that is and then a breeze to do it, and there are never any consequences. She admired him, and he was insane, and yeah, he couldn't really help her. Offer her a slot on the Normandy? Sure. More death incoming, more unknown. She wanted it anyway. Moya walked back through the door into prison like he had the first time, voluntarily. He liked it here. It was a great shore leave. Too bad, Thane discovered terrifying things on a daily basis, and it got more dangerous day by day. He liked Day. He really did. A lot, but trust was not an easy or even wise thing under the circumstances, and could be an extraordinarily dangerous thing for his family. He felt the knifing sense of too much risk and exposure. Karin and Thane were at the kitchen table, both with mugs of tea. She'd developed a taste for drilled tea since getting here, and the smell was familiar. To Moya, every last sampled brew tasted like mud. Not good, rich mud, but just exactly enough bitter dirt added to make sure water didn't taste good anymore. Sad state of tea affairs. He sat down at the table and pulled out the ice cream, put it down ceremoniously. Thane and Karin both looked at him curiously. Moya told her. Got you something. Karin's brows rose and she smiled. Dairy has made me nauseated since the first trimester, Shuri. Right, so got me something. And look, my favorite flavor. It was tiger tail. Moya got a spoon and started eating. He swallowed. I like her. Damn it. Thane nearly smiled and Karin put her hand over his. Unfortunately, Cherie, Thane has discovered something that concerns us all. They could talk here if Thane was confident. Moya didn't understand all of the security, but it seemed it was safe, at least right now, through some Drell sorcery. Moya raised a brow and looked at Thane. I believe personnel in Counselor Udina's office and the counselor himself are indoctrinated. I believe the orders to station Miss Karin here arose from his offices. Moya closed his eyes, took another bite of ice cream, and then shrugged. I'd say I'm surprised, but seriously, fuck that guy. Always was an asshole. Indoctrination probably made him a better person. Could hardly make him worse. I don't even understand how he's counselor. I picked Anderson, but did they listen? Is Day in on it? Thane shrugged slightly. It does not seem that way. However, were it my job to not seem that way, I would be convincing. We do not know the mechanics of indoctrination, and we cannot prove or detect it. She may not know she is indoctrinated. My conclusion is circumstantial and based upon pattern recognition developed through access to Liara's covert databases and analysis established by the previous Shadowbroker. I feel confident enough to act upon this conclusion because in this context, it would mean that agents of Reapers know your location in space and time, and that they would be motivated to remove you from the board. Great. So we're all confident that everything sucks. I mean, not you guys. Thane, it's great to have you here. Really great. I'm not sure why we don't stay up more often and braid each other's hair. Moya stared down at the suddenly tasteless cold. Thane stood and crossed to Karin, a hand on her shoulder. Kassid. I will kill him when you wish. Thank you, Thane, but I believe if it must be done, I will do it. As you wish. Thane left the room, though Moya had to look up to make sure. It's not like there would ever be footsteps he could hear or an audibly closing door from that man. Kassid. Drell word for healer. Not just a bones and skin healer, but a healer for the soul sick. A healer for when all other healers fail. He looked up at her and smiled. I looked it up. There was only ever one Kassid alive on Rakana at one time. Now there's only one alive in the galaxy. And he had to keep her safe.